Very proud to introduce to you the latest and greatest creation that I've come up with, the D15-Chimera, which consists of the seal dual 15-inch active 15-inch driver top cabinet, which when coupled to our supercharger, it becomes a super powerful ported subwoofer. This is the D15-Chimera, the dual 15 seal that we just came up with. It has two active 15-inch drivers, one on each side. That's the front. And we have the amplifier on the back here. This is equivalent to two ULS 15s basically. It's the same footprint as the ULS 15, but it has twice amplifier power and twice the number of woofers. So this one has unparalleled punch in the mid bass. It's capable of going up to about 132 dB. And it's still one of the strongest in the low bass for a seal subwoofer. But if you want more, you can always add the supercharger to it. And this is where the fun begins. We at HSU Research really love the fact that we've designed this to be a very flexible subwoofer. When combined like this, it's our most powerful subwoofer is equivalent to two TN1s actually. And one added advantage of this over two TN1s is that we have 4 ports altogether in one single cabinet. So we can actually also operate in 3-port mode. With the TN1s, you can either have 2 ports open or 4 ports open on the two TN1s. But you cannot have 3 ports open. 3 ports open has the advantage that it's almost as deep an extension as the 2 ports open, but because we have 50% more port area, it's a lot less port noise and can play much louder down to, it's basically flat down to 15 Hertz, even with 3 ports open. And now we'll go on to the other neat features of this, what I fondly call the beast, is that the supercharger can be turned the other way around. So if your partner prefers a smoother, sleeker front with no ports on the front, or if you have kids at home who are likely to put their toys into the ports and cause rattling and all that, you can always turn it around and face the ports towards the wall. We realized that this subwoofer is so powerful that some people outside their rooms may not need something this powerful. So please go to our website and read our guides and comparison charts so that you can decide which of our subwoofers may be more suitable for you. But if you are a true bass fanatic, likes to shake your room and rattle your bones, then this is definitely the subwoofer for you.
Hi there, I'm Kevin with HSU Research, and today I'm going to showcase how to unpackage the D15-Chimera subwoofer. Now with all of our subwoofers, it's designed so that you can open the top first, so it's very intuitive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a box cutter, which I do recommend that you use to open up the top flaps, and then what we're going to do is what we'll call the flip method. So we're going to keep flipping the subwoofer, and that's going to make things easier on you instead of trying to lift the subwoofer out of the box. This subwoofer is about 110 pounds, so trying to lift it out of the box by yourself is going to be a hassle. So I'm going to start by opening up the top panels of the shipping box. Okay, so now that the top panels are open, you're going to see these important unpacking instructions. Now this will go over pretty much what I'm telling you right now, but if you like to watch the video, this is probably a good way of going about it. So I'm going to put these instructions off to the side. And we're going to start by flipping the subwoofer. Now, just a word of warning, when you're flipping, these panels kind of like to move around a lot. So if you're doing this by yourself, you're going to have to make sure that you manage all the panels just to make sure that they don't somehow go back in. So once they do that and you flip it over, it's going to be difficult to remove the box. So we're going to start here and just kind of manage everything. So notice that I'm using my body to keep at least this portion of the flap in. I'm going to place my foot here, and I'm going to reach around and grab the other panel. And I'm going to use my upper body to pull it. Okay, so now that that's pulled, you can pull the box up to reveal the subwoofer with all of its internal packaging. Now, this may be a little bit difficult to do on your own, depending. So one thing that I want to show you as I take this off is the sub also has these corner inserts. Now you can take these off first, and so what that will do is that will allow it to come out quicker when you, and easily as you pull the box up. What you didn't see here is the fact that it also has a bottom foam piece. So if you see this there, that's supposed to be there, but sometimes when you pull it up, especially with the corners, it's going to come with it. So you just make sure that you remove the bottom foam piece. Okay, so now that it's removed, you're going to see this black cloth that keeps the finish protected. So don't throw it away. We actually recommend that you keep it, especially if you end up moving and you need to repackage it. This is going to help keep it safe, the finish safe, so that the things like the foam trays and these foam panels won't mar the subwoofer finish. And this will actually come in handy if you end up getting the supercharger and you need a kind of a nice smooth surface to move the sub around. And I'll show you how to do that in a later video. So with this subwoofer, you're going to see these 4 panels around the sub to keep it safe during shipping. Now, these are molded, so there's going to be 2 molded foams here for the driver and 1 for the amplifier. So you're going to have to pull this off. Now, you could do it easily by just cutting the tape here, and that will allow you to just easily remove it if you want. If you want to keep it together, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to kind of shimmy the subwoofer. So you're going to have to pull these different foam panels out a little bit as you work your way up. And so that can be a little bit difficult, but if you're patient with it, it will work. So you're just going to have to keep pulling out as you're lifting up. And sometimes you can kind of reach in and grab in case it's getting caught on things like the driver and the amp. So feel free to put your hand in there and kind of pull out panels. And there you go. So we're going to go ahead and put that off to the side. Now that you have removed the 4 panels from the side of the subwoofer, you're going to see the black cloth here, and what we're going to do is we're going to start unwrapping the subwoofer. And we're going to bring the cloth down the sides here. One thing I do want to let you know is that when we flip it back over, we recommend flipping it on its face here. We do have an amplifier panel in the back, and if you try to flip it the other way with the where the amplifier is, you may apply pressure on the fins. And if you have hardwood floors or something like that, the fins could potentially damage the floors if you're not careful. So we would just recommend that you start off with here. Now, start off with the front of the subwoofer. Now, one thing that you could do is you can place like maybe a towel or something if you want under here in front of the subwoofer, if you want to protect the finish a little bit more, but that's completely up to you. So let me go ahead and flip it one more time. Just set it down nicely. Okay, so now that it's right set up, we're going to take off the top foam piece and set that aside. And we're going to go ahead and pull off the black cloth, which will now reveal the subwoofer. So now we have the subwoofer in the correct orientation, and you can go ahead and move the subwoofer to the spot that you're planning on putting it, hook up the power and the signal cable, and you should be good to go. It's how to set up the D15 so that you can add that onto the supercharger module and run them together. So to do that, there's going to be some prep work on the D15 side. We're going to be removing this plate amplifier from the unit, and on the bottom that I will showcase to you later on, there is a dummy plate that's on the bottom of the sub that this amp will go into. So in order to do that, you're going to have access to both. And so what I recommend doing is using that same cloth that came with your D15 when you initially opened it. And you can use this because this, again, protects the finish from being marred. So if you're using this on a hardwood floor or if your carpet's not exactly in great shape, that could potentially mar the finish. So what I would do is I would just go ahead and put this cloth right in front of the subwoofer so that when you tilt it over, it's going to be resting on the cloth. So I will go ahead and tilt the subwoofer for you. Okay, and as I said earlier, there is a dummy plate that's on the bottom. And so this is going to be the area where you're going to put the amp in. And you're just going to remove the dummy plate and move it off to the side. Do not get rid of it, just in case you want to revert back to the D15. You can still use that dummy plate. If you don't have that, then that's going to severely affect the performance because there's an opening here. So I will go ahead and remove the screws. So the screws that you will be removing are these 12 perimeter screws around the edge of the plate amp. You can remove that with a Phillips screwdriver. I think it's easier using an electric screwdriver, but if you don't have that, just using a regular handheld manual one will be fine as well. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the screws for you. So now that the screws have been removed from around the edge of the plate amp, we're going to go ahead and lift it up. Now you can grip it by the heat sink fins, or you can grip it by the high level inputs. Either one would be fine. I usually just grip it by the heat sink fins. It's only about 8 pounds thereabouts, maybe even just a little bit less. So it's not very heavy, but I'm going to go ahead and lift it up. Now as you can see, there's two black speaker leads that go to the two 15-inch drivers. Now we use what we call a quick disconnect to make things easier on you. So there's this white connector in the middle, and basically with the connector there is a tab that you need to press down while you pull the two connectors apart like so. So let me try it with this one as well. There you go. And so that will completely disconnect the plate amplifier so you can remove it from the enclosure completely. And so now that that's disconnected, we're going to go ahead and remove the dummy plate. And the reason why I went with the amplifier first is that that will allow you, since there is no way to grip the dummy plate, you can actually just reach inside and pop it out. So I do recommend removing the plate amp first, just in case this becomes a little bit of an issue in removing the dummy plate. So I will go ahead and unscrew the 12 perimeter screws just like I did the plate amp. Okay, so now with all the 12 screws removed, you're going to see that the plate amp's in here. It actually is starting to come out already, which is great. But sometimes, depending on how it's set in, these rubber donut feet could actually interfere with the corner, so it may end up keeping it from coming out from that side. So if that's happening, more often than not, there's going to be another corner that's free, so you can just kind of push it out and then pull it. So it's not very difficult to remove as long as you push from the inside. But now that this dummy plate's out, we're going to go ahead and install the plate amp. Now one thing that you could do that I would actually generally recommend is I like to put things in topsides. So you can go ahead and flip this enclosure so that the bottom is facing up. And that will give you better leverage when you put in the screws instead of doing it from the side. So one thing that I do want to tell you is about orientation of the subwoofer. So right now I put it in the wrong orientation as a word of example, and I will tell you why in just a little bit, but basically you want to have it so that the top connection and all the knobs that go along with it is actually on the side of the front of the D15. So let me go ahead and put it in correctly. So again, the reason why this matters is that the sub is going to be placed horizontally instead of vertically. And so if you have it the wrong orientation, the amp is going to be upside down when you put it on the supercharger unit. And let me go ahead and turn this sub around. And that's, again, this is another reason why I like using the cloth, because it turns and it allows you to maneuver easily. So in here, you can see the two connectors, and you can see the two connectors from the amplifier as well. So you're going to reconnect this. Now, one of the questions that I'll probably hear a lot of is, does it matter which one you connect it to? No. So to the subwoofer, it's a mono signal, so it doesn't really matter which driver you hook it up to, because they're basically producing the same exact signal. So you're just going to push the two connectors, and you'll hear a click, as you probably just did earlier, and that's the tab that snaps in place, so that's locked. And if you have any questions, you can kind of pull on it. As a word of warning, try not to pull it from the actual cable. It's just as a safety, it's better just to pull from here, otherwise you may end up causing damage to the connector by pulling it from here. So it's always good to just grip it by the two white connectors when you're separating or putting them together. And that's pretty much it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and screw the plate amp back in. Okay, now that the amp has been screwed into the enclosure, it is now ready to be set up on top of the D15s. So this is our supercharger module. This is used in conjunction with the D15 to turn it basically into a ported dual 15-inch subwoofer. So in order to do that, we're going to have to place this D15 in a horizontal position on top. Now, let's go ahead and go over this really quick. You have four 4-inch ports that will allow you to easily tune, as we normally do with all of our subs. So they come with port plugs, naturally in a sealed configuration, but you can open up with 2 ports, 3 ports, 4 ports. It makes it very handy and very versatile to use alongside the D15. So how it attaches is it uses this peg system here, these metal pegs here at the corners, and these will fit into these rubber grommet sections here. And basically you're going to see this one cut out with this foam piece here. Do not remove this foam piece. This is important. What this does is this seals the D15 against the supercharger and keeps air from leaking out. You don't want air leaking, as that will affect the performance of the subwoofer negatively. So make sure that all these foam pieces are still here, and these have the 4 pegs. And I'm going to go ahead and get this maneuvered so that we can put it on top. Now, the great thing about the supercharger is that you could have it so that the ports are facing out towards you, or you can have it face towards the wall. It's completely up to you. We generally like seeing the ports on the sub, so we're going to have it facing outward. But again, if you want to turn it around, great thing is that's not a problem. If you want to have more of a surface that's completely smooth, then you can turn it around with the D15. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to make this easier on myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it so that the face of the D15 is out like that. And what I'm going to do is I am going to tilt this, and make sure you have somebody here to help you. Again, this is a very heavy sub. It's about 110 pounds. So try not to lift this by yourself. So make sure you have somebody here to help you. You're going to tilt it, and we are going to go ahead and lift it up. Try to line it with the pegs. So the enclosures should match up 100%. So if you get them somewhat close, you should be able to shimmy. So if it's not fitting in 100% right away, feel free to kind of move it around a little bit. That fits. And eventually, once it's 100% in there, if you start rocking it like this, it's not going to move. And you can always go in through the corners and check to make sure that they are inserted into the rubber grommets, which this one it is. And so once these are layered on top of each other, that's it.